So I think I am live. Yeah. So when I first started in photography as an adult, because I started as a child with one of my cousins, but when I first started as an adult on my own, I started pretty much like most people using natural light. Natural light was a great start. I got a chance to experiment with the ISO, the shutter, the aperture, and to see what those did and how it was, what effect it had on my pictures, regardless of where the light was. All I wanted to see at that time was a clean image. And as I got more and more experience with photography, I ended up pursuing artificial lights. One, to control the lights, control the shadows, the density of the shadows. And don't laugh, or maybe if you do, it'll be okay. I'm sorry, I'm turning the volume down because it seemed like I'm peaking. The first light that I bought was actually, I have it right here, this clamp floodlight. And actually I brought 4 of them. It was a good experiment, or thing that I did do, because I got a chance to see actually how the light had different colors just by the bulb itself. And also the issue that I had with this was, if you look in here, you can see some of the curvatures, the rings that's in here. Well, the light that shined onto the subject or wall or whatever had these same rings. So you saw the gradients of lights as it got wider. Now what I could have done was taken some type of paper or some type of diffuser, be it a shower curtain or whatever, and placed it in front of here. But at that time, I just didn't know. I wasn't aware of it. It worked well when I bounced the light, say out of a corner, as long as the wall was a light color, like white or cream colored light. It produced a great image for me, particularly at the time. But I eventually moved on from these, because one issue that you have when you start doing these different ventures of using things that weren't designed for what it is you're trying to use them for is, how do you hang them up, or how do you put them in the location that you want them to be? I then moved on to on-camera flash. Now, it wasn't this brand. It was actually the Yongnuo 560. And I had, I think, 3 of those. But when I first got it, I first started with a single one, and I just put it on top of my camera. At the time, I think it was a Nikon D3100. I love the images out of that. I love what that camera was able to do. I discovered the limits of that camera. One being the ISO. You couldn't raise the ISO too high before you start getting grain, unless that was the image that you were going for. So from there, I played with bouncing the light, played with different diffusers on top of the light, the bounce card, the diffuser, and typically if I had a flash on top of that, that was my style, was to have the diffuser pulled out as well as the bounce card, pulled out, so that I can feather the light more so than having direct light. That was the one thing I saw real quick with an on-camera flash. It was to ultimately never point the light directly towards your subject. Otherwise, you're going to wash them out, or you're going to have this big shadow projected on the wall behind them. After that, when I purchased the other 2 Yongnuo flashes, again, it wasn't this one. I also purchased a trigger that goes on top of the camera, And that setup was the first setup I started using when I started shooting headshots. I liked it. It was portable, regardless of if I was at home shooting them or I would go to clients' houses or businesses and shoot them, and it was sufficient. Now, from there, the only drawback of that for me was that you can't see what you're getting until you take the picture. On top of that, the flash would catch some people off guard, and you'd be surprised with how many people can't not blink. And if your shutter speed isn't high enough to capture that before they blink, or if your flash actually sends out a pre-flash before it actually flashes, you're gonna catch them with their eyes closed most of the time. From there, I think well, I started adding different modifiers. Of course, with the headshots, I have soft boxes placed on top of those, of course. But actually, my first modifier that I got was an umbrella, and it simply mounted onto whatever was holding the light. Say if it was, I don't want to move that because you're gonna hear it. If it was something, say for instance, like this bracket could hold your flash, or it could hold well, it could hold an on-camera flash. I'm sorry, let me say it that way. An on-camera flash, or you can take a larger flash like the Godox 8200 and stick it in here and adjust this. If you have a round head, you simply remove the centerpiece, and now it's suitable to hold a round flash head. But nonetheless, I would take my umbrella and simply install it. I'm not going to open it because of course I'm inside of a smaller room, and adjust as needed. Now with the umbrellas, I typically had two different types. It would be the translucent, which you just saw, or a bounce back umbrella. I like the shoot through umbrella more so for what I was taking pictures of. Now if I had larger groups, I probably would have used the reflective umbrella, which I do have it. Again, I just don't use it as often because for the shots I like for the lights to be softer, and I can bring that type of modifier in closer where I can have the light fall off in a pattern that I like, or that's more appealing to me. Now there are different modifiers for different things, and you may like a harder light, or you may like a softer light. Now from there, which was again the on-camera flash, I end up going to the Godox 8200. Now this is a flash that has a Fresnel head, but you can also change it out and attach a bulb to it, which has a different light pattern than this, of course. Now this also has more power than one of these type of flash, which meant I did not have to turn the power up as high on here to get the same output of these lights, or I can stack two of these together with a different bracket and produce, well, get a 400 watt flash. This has been my go-to flash for a lot of events. I have additional batteries that I can just pop in and pop out and change it. I think this thing's rated to like 500 full power flash. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it is. But nonetheless, it's been durable. They've held up for me very well, And actually, this is the trigger for these lights. Now, from there, I ended up going over to what's considered as continuous lighting. With continuous lighting, you get a chance to actually see what you're going to get before you even pick your camera up. The downside to that is if there are people around you that want to take pictures, they don't have to have a trigger. They can just take their cell phone and hold it up to what you've set up and take a picture of it. If you're in business, you're trying to make money, that may not be the route that you want to go. But if you're in a studio or you're in a controlled environment where you are producing the image and you don't have to worry about someone trying to, take a picture around your back without you seeing or whatever, because what you may not know, you may do, is that when you're taking a picture of someone and they have someone with them, they're going to pull their cell phone out real quick and take pictures of it, and that friend is going to look at their friend with their cell phone while you have your camera and you're waiting for them to get done taking their picture. So a different topic, but there are ways to handle that. But nonetheless, just be aware that if you do use continuous lighting in a more open public place, it is likely that someone else is going to take pictures using the light setup that you have. That may not be an issue. Now, beyond that, I've toured with different light modifiers, like this beauty dish that I have. Well, it's a softbox beauty dish, a 34-inch beauty dish by Glow, and that's been my go-to light modifier, particularly out in public, or if I'm doing an outside shoot, or a shoot of pretty much anywhere of a single person, unless it's a headshot. And again, it's not just about having a light or washing them out with light. You want to try to control how the light fall off or how thick or dense your shadows are. Also, I lost my train of thought, and this is a live video. I'm gonna leave this in here though. I have my notes here, and I'm not afraid to use them. So, in the midst, and I see that this is a lot faster than I expected to have been, but that's all right. I want to let you know of what is it that I like to actually shoot. I like more so, say, taking pictures and portraits of people. I like to try to pull out expressions. Now, I'll say the difference with my photography is that if I was to take a picture of someone that loves to take pictures, if I get a chance, I would like to go through their, Instagram or whatever to see what type of images that they typically take. Because usually when someone take a picture of themselves, they have their camera in the same exact position, regardless of what they're wearing, what day it is. It's highly likely they're going to have that same facial expression, the same pose of themselves. And I don't want my picture to be the picture that you can just stand in front of a camera and go click. I want to try to pull in that expression, whether it's more of a seductive look, if it's a confident look, or if it's a open and inviting, or even if it's a stern, more stern. I'm confident. I believe in myself. I'm the person for you. If it's for dating or if it's for professional, I want to pull out that expression that makes you look your best you for that split second. Also, there's a different in Candid Shots, or you're just taking pictures of people, you're learning how to take pictures, and you go to a family event and you have them to pose. That's great. That's nothing wrong with that, because we all have to start somewhere. And don't get me wrong, I'm still learning myself. It's you want them to be comfortable in front of the camera, but you also want to have them to allow you to take pictures of them again. And I'm saying it to say that if you don't like the picture, consider not showing them the picture, deleting it. Especially if you have a digital camera and you know how to use it. Because when someone see a picture of them that doesn't put them in the light that they want to be shown in, they end up shutting down on you. And that's something I try to be very cautious with. Usually females prefer to take pictures, and their male friend, boyfriend, husband, whatever, they'll take a picture just to please them, but they don't want to be there. So I try to do things or say things and to encourage them to, enjoy the time, to just relax, and to, consider each other, think about each other. We all have a lot going on. But what I don't do, I don't tell them to relax, and I don't tell them to smile. I try to pull those two things out in a different way. Oh, I just kicked the microphone. Sorry about that. But the last thing I want to share with you is a future project that I'm trying to work the details out, and I want to just share that with you right now. I want to play more with lights, with color lights, let's say it that way. Not just throwing colors like this wash of red here, but I want to play with colors more so to give more of a cinematic, dramatic look. I want the colors to tell a story. I wish I had an example to show you right now, but if I may say, in a sense of stronger pops of color, stronger loss of words. Have the colors to do more than just tickle the redness of your eye. I want the colors to actually help to, I'm gonna say the same thing again, help to tell the story. And now, since I'm sharing this with you, it may not have to be a color in the sense of, red, green, blue, yellow, or anything like that. I may be able to pull that off with just using multiple lights, playing with shadows and highlights, because that's all photography is. It's just recording light. Yeah, I want to do a more dramatic picture, but one that has a reason, a cause behind it. Well, anyway, I hope this quick rundown memory lane kind of help to spark a little curiosity or creativity in you. Anyway, look, grab your camera, go create. You're the artist. God bless.